Guys, there is no time. There is nobody who set the rule that there has to be an age limit for changing your opinion, for changing your views and your stances, you know? There is nothing more mature and nothing more advanced in your capacity. Well, guys, what do we have here? This is the first video after and as a response to the famous video that has gotten over 500 views on my channel, guys. The video, Alexensual is back, has rocketed, guys. It went up to the moon. And at this point, I really want to express my deepest thanks, you know, for nobody else other than Alexensual. He's the guy who posted this video on his official Reddit, ladies and gentlemen. He posted it on his own Reddit. And, you know, you got to see it this way, guys. His Reddit has two posts. One, his video, and the second post is my video. So I've been getting a lot of views and a lot of traffic on that video, and I didn't know where exactly this came from. So I thought to myself, okay, what if I checked out his Reddit? Because it seemed a little familiar to me that I got these sudden spikes in views. So I went out and I checked out his Reddit, and guess what, guys? I was right. He posted my video on his Reddit. So thank you, Alexensual, for doing that. I'm always going to be in your gratitude, you know. So consider yourself Blizzard, and consider myself a streamer who is always trying to speak positively about Blizzard to be in their good grace. That's our kind of relationship, okay, Alexensual? Thank you. Now, for the 500 people who came in and who watched my video, guys. First of all, guys, thank you so much for being on the channel. Thank you so much for watching the video. It means the world to me. It means more than you can imagine that you guys have been coming into my channel, checking out my video. And guys, believe it or not, guys, the video was long. It was 25 minutes, and there was a lot of engagement in those 25 minutes because the topic was controversial, and that's what it's about, guys. It's about a guy. It's about no one else other than Alexensual. So we had traffic from haters and we had traffic from fans. So we had traffic from both people who both of them had the fullest incentive to watch the video to the fullest. The haters wanted to watch, no, the fans wanted to watch the video because it just felt nice for them that somebody was talking positively about their, you know, about Alexensual. Now for the haters, guys, they were watching the video because they wanted those parts in which they could say, we got you, that's false, that's wrong, you know, that's not true. So they watched the whole video. So I had the benefit from those two population categories who you know, they bumped up the viewer account. So guys, thank you so much. Whether you are a fan, whether you liked it, whether you didn't like it, the fact that you came, the fact that you watched my video and you engaged with my content, guys, I'm stressing this out many times. Thank you so much for doing that. Now, guys, let's come right to the topic of this video, and this is something that we have to talk about, guys. I've been noticing some comments about some people who've been saying some things, guys, and I wanted to make this video to address these issues and these topics, things that were mentioned by people in the comments. And guys, I've noticed there were some thought pattern mistakes in certain things some people said in the way they were arguing the case. So the first thing that I got, that I came across, was that some people were saying, okay, Alexensual is bad because he used to say things, he used to preach for things, and now he's doing the opposite. Hence his credibility is gone, hence he is a bad person. Let me address this first, because this is, I think it all sums, because the comments were multiple. They were multiple comments, and this was the summation, the conclusion of the comments that these people have been mentioning regarding you. So guys, we have to address this. We have to speak about this, and we have to talk about this in a clear fashion. You have to understand this. Rigidity, the lack of capability to adapt and standing fixed and fixated on one point of view, despite having evidence, clear indicators that there is another point of view that might be better, more beneficial. That indicates the lack of maturity. So let's be very honest about this, guys. It indicates the lack of maturity when you are a person who seems to suffer from that what I have mentioned. Guys, you had opinions when you were a kid, right? When we were kids, we didn't like girls. Let's be honest, guys. We did not like girls. It was boys only, no girls allowed. Most of us now like girls. Nobody said, oh, your pride has been injured. Oh, your credibility has been stabbed in the back because you changed your opinion. And that's a very simple idea. You're going to say, okay, but this is a different example. We're talking about something that you said when you were an adult. And now you've changed something you said after you were an adult, which makes it different. Guys, there is no time. There is nobody who set the rule that there has to be an age limit for changing your opinion, for changing your views and your stances, you know? There is nothing more mature and nothing more advanced in your capacity as a mature human, as a man, you know, to go in front of the public and tell everybody, guys, I've been preaching something wrong, I've done a mistake, and I want to correct the mistake. The level of maturity is just, it's unbelievable, guys, because you're doing this in public. You're doing this in public. Think about an apology. How hard is it for you to apologize to somebody that you have faulted? When you realize that moment that, you faulted somebody, it's very hard for you to go to that person and to apologize because you got, you know, you got into the spotlight of having committed a mistake. So it's very hard to apologize. Not to mention, it's very, very hard to go out in front of the public and tell the public I was wrong. I was wrong about something. I changed my views about something. Now, changing views is not a problem. It shows that you are thinking. It shows that your mind is in constant work. It shows that you have a great situational analysis because situations change. The situations are fluid and dynamic, so you have to adapt to these situations. It's a sort of pragmatism and level of maturity. Believe me, guys, the most successful people in this history, in the history of this planet, have been people who have changed their views and have been adapting their views. Some views have stayed and remained as core values, but other views are dependent on the situation, especially things that are related to work, lifestyle, business, entertainment. These are views that are prone to change. Some views are better not changed, like for example your standards, core values and ideals. They stay fixed, you know, and it's good that they stay fixed because it gives people a compass to understand who you are and how you would behave in certain situations, and on that basis they choose to be with you. Like for example, friends, they know your compass, they know your guidelines, they know how you operate as a friend, so they choose to devote to you as a friend. These are views and standards that you should keep, but they are very few. Now, extend beyond that, go into things that have more things to do with life and these changing dynamics in life, then you're talking about something completely. Now you have to be very situational. You have to base your responses. Your one fixed view that has to be constant is that in every situation, no matter how different that situation is, you will analyze and assess that situation differently and independently depending on that situation. Think about that. Think about that and tell me that does not make sense. If you don't like that that person had different views and that has stabbed his credibility, then I'm telling you that he has one standard that has not changed. That standard is that no matter what different situation I am in, I will independently assess that situation, and that is my core standard that I go by. So, It's just that he didn't announce this as his core standard. And I'm telling you guys, I'm not talking just about him. I'm talking about you, the guy who, the people who wrote these comments or who are thinking these comments. Think about it this way. If you don't like it that a person has a core standard and has backpedaled from his core standard, then see it as this. Your core standard is that you will assess every situation based on the situation itself, with different variations and different outcomes. There's no one path that works for every situation. That works when you were a kid in school, you're a good boy, don't be a bad boy. That works in school. In life, that does not work anymore. So you have to mix. You have to be in a gray situation the whole time. What dictates your action is the outcome. The benefit. What are you gaining from the situation? Who are you helping? Those are the things that dictate the outcome. In this case, guys, we're talking about a guy who does streaming as a profession. He needs to make a living, guys. Come on, he needs to make a living. Tell me one benefit. Tell me one benefit that he... And I'm attacking the old community, the private server community. I'm attacking you guys. I was a private server player. But I'm attacking you guys. How did you guys help him? Did you guys somehow boom up his viewer count? No. You guys were trolling him. You guys were trying to, find shit on him, on his Discord and his random videos that he used to post. You guys have not been any help to him at all. So tell me one benefit that he would be having if he would remain loyal to that old community that he had. Guys, come on. Come on, guys. Let's be honest here. What kind of benefit is he gaining? Is he gaining from this in terms of viewers? Nope. Is he gaining from this in terms of a following basis? No. Is he gaining this in terms of relationships with other people who are in this industry of streaming? No. So the guy has potential to be a streamer, but none of the foundations that would make him a successful streamer are things that you are providing. And you want him to stay loyal to you. The equation does not make sense. It's time to grow up, guys, and it's time to embrace your age, guys, because you're not talking your age. If this is your stance, then sorry, but you're not talking your age. It's time to start talking your age and try to think of the perspective from the other person. What is he gaining by being loyal to you as a private server community that has some weird moral values about not paying Blizzard but still using their intellectual property? It doesn't make sense. And don't get me wrong, guys, I'm not a Blizzard apologetic at all. Absolutely not. That is not me. But I'm talking about this from the perspective of that person. What is the benefit if he stood loyal to the old things that he said, the things that have not pushed him forward, right? Let's talk about money, financially. The streams are getting... The guy has over 600 subs in the first month of streaming. You know how much money that is, guys? I don't know. I mean, I think it's $2.5 times 600 or something. I don't know how much that is, but that's over 1,500, around $2,000. He's getting $2,000 just by opening up a stream for 1 hour a day, guys. And you have to think about financials. At a certain point in your life, you have to start thinking about money. No matter how pure and how moral you are, whatever it is that you define yourself with, at some point you have to think about money, because money talks the language. This is how the world works. So don't try to oppose the world with your own fixated ideas. You gotta find a way how to dive into the world as it is, and then you can fix things in the world step by step as you go through. Some things you will not be able to fix, somebody else is gonna fix. But you can fix some things. But you have to go in, you have to swim, you have to get your hands dirty. You cannot stay, at the edge and look at the people who are swimming in the pool and getting their hands dirty and say, oh, look at these guys. They're all playing retail, they're all playing classic, they're all playing on these, they're all vanilla, they're all Blizzard sell-offs, sell-offs. Well, what the hell is that word? What does that even mean, you're a sell-off? Wow, that's crazy. So if a guy thinks about his money, if a guy thinks about his future, his own benefit and stability, which for me are very respectable traits, you call him he's a sell-off. Sorry guys, but I think we're confusing some things here. In all honesty, guys, I really do think that we are confusing a few core issues, and we're mixing up some words here, guys. Is he a sell-off because he used to be against Blizzard and now he's with Blizzard? Is it because he chose that because of the money? If it's that, guys, then I'm asking you, what's bad about that? With all due respect, guys, what is bad about that? He is more likely to be richer than you in the next 6 months, and you know, the richer the guy is, the more he can do in his life, the more he can benefit the people around him, the more he can help people who rely on him, the more he can do things in his life that are just good for him and for the people around him. So don't argue anybody that striving to get money is bad, and doing things for that sake is not bad. Call it being a sell-off, but it's not. It's not. It's not as negative as you try to make it to be, guys. Absolutely not. There are some certain situations in which a sell-off is bad. Look at politics. If somebody is, saying things in politics, and then he suddenly changes his stances, you call the guy he's a fake, he's a sellout, because he changed his stances because he got lobbied by money, right? But this is not the same example. First of all, you're not talking about a politician. You're talking about a guy who wants to make a living by streaming, guys. There's a very big difference, guys. He's a person who wants to make a living by streaming, and he wants to stream normally like everybody else does, without causing conflicts. The only difference is that he doesn't stream some kind of weird games that nobody cares about, but he streams a game in which the company is a bit of pain in the ass. Let's be honest about this, right? Blizzard is not an easy company. They're very sensitive, and they're a big pain in the ass for all the content creators. And they have some weird policies, and I've heard stories where they send people in suits knocking the house doors of people just like Nintendo does. It's a sensitive company, and the people who are in charge are very, very weird. Let's just get this right out of the way, guys. So the guy wants to be a streamer. He wants to make a living out of it. It happens to be that the game he loves is run and operated by people who are fucking weird. Alright? It's different. That's different. Call it a sell-off if you want to, but it's a different kind of sell-off than a politician who's been preaching to millions and millions of people, who has advisors and who has his financials set, and who then suddenly changed his views because he was greedy into getting more. So there's a threshold, guys. There's a threshold from going from zero to a livable lifestyle, and from being rich to wanting to get richer. That is greed. That's a sell-off. But you're talking about a guy who is at zero, who wants to be living off of this. There's very different examples, guys. They are not the same. And the lack of if you still, despite these differences, say that they are the same, then with all honesty, guys, you're not honest with yourself, and you're not honest and truthful to that person either. It means that you have a bias against him, and you want to hate that person, because I have now demonstrated that it's not the same example, and that the examples vary on the situation, as I've demonstrated. And if you still hold on to the idea that no, he is this same level of corruption as that politician that I gave an example of, then you're doing that on purpose because you hate the person. And hatred does not justify for you that you become unfair. You can hate a person, but you still have to be fair. You should always be fair. Fair is one of those core values that you should not change. Fairness is a compass that you should have as a person, that makes you reliable to other people, that you have this kind of compass. Fairness. And hatred should not blind you of being fair. It's very hard, and it needs a lot of discipline to be a fair guy when you hate somebody else. But you have to acquire this. And if you catch yourself in the trap and the mistake of not applying this concept, then you have to start training yourself. You have to apply mental discipline to start acquiring this trait. The trait of discipline, despite hating a person and despite not liking a person. That's very important to acquire, guys. So there are a lot of things that we're learning from this. There's a lot of things and a lot of psychological insight that we're getting from this story and the backlash and the comments that we've been receiving and what these comments demonstrate. Guys, it's time to finally leave the schoolboy mentality of a very clear path of what's right and what's wrong and nothing in between. That was in school times, when you had to be given the instructions of what is good and what is bad, because you can't trust a child to figure that out on his own. You're not a child anymore. Now you're an adult. Now you have to start thinking for yourself. And you have to understand that not all situations are the same, and they're not fixed. Whenever you start to think about situations as fixed, you can rest assured that you are now going into the trap of having a thought process, a mistake in the thought process, a faulty thought process. Fixation means a faulty thought process. Always see things that they're not either yes or no. If you think about them in yes or no, then you're going into something wrong. You're going into the schoolboy thinking that we've been raised to do. So it takes a lot of effort, a lot of mental training to rip yourself out of that mentality that we have been trained to acquire. And it's important to start acquiring a new way of thinking, the way of balancing and seeing that some things just are good and bad at the same time. And we have to separate our feelings from what actually is. Guys, from what actually is. That's something very important. If you don't like the person, that's your feeling. Your feeling is fine. But stop harassing. Stop being the kind of lurker who waits for the content that comes about him. The positive content, just to go there and to start shitting on that person or criticizing. Fine, you can say that. But it should not make you proud. It should not make you proud that you have that much hatred to a person that you don't know in real life, to the extent that you're doing this, guys. I understand the game is very important. You can see on the screen, this is a Grand fucking Marshal. Grand fucking Marshal. You know how much time I spent to get this? I was farming this from April until September to get Grand fucking Marshal on this tune, and I got a corrupted Ashbringer. Guys, so please, guys, we all have a emotional, we're all tied to this game emotionally. It's very important for all of us. It means pride and the world for us. It should not make us blind. It should not make us stupid and oblivious about certain things, about certain equations in life that we should not, overlook. It's very important to acquire this. This should be like a separation point in your life. The old self in which you were fixated and, oh, this guy said something and now he's saying something else, the guy's bad. This fixated thinking to the new elevated thinking that, okay, yeah, he did contradict himself, that's true, but he has reasons. One of the reasons is this and this and this, and these are valid reasons. And he's more than justified to take these actions because of these reasons. This is a mature kind of thinking. Yes, I don't like that he did that. I feel a kind of an internal conflict that he has been, that he contradicted himself. However, he's done that for reasons that are valid. So now you have elevated your thinking. You have turned your thinking into a new kind that is now mature, that is gray, that is not fixated, that has a yes and a no together, and that is situational. This is a very kind of mature thinking. And you want to acquire this kind of thinking because you want to always strive to reach the highest level possible. That qualifies you for many things in life, for leadership, for decision making, for making an actual difference in helping other people or helping yourself, which is the highest thing that you can achieve in life. You'll never be able to achieve that if you do not acquire this kind of thinking. So guys, it's time that we elevate and we leave the past behind, the schoolboy thinking, and we start to elevate into a new, rational, situational, mature kind of thinking in which we know when to stand firm on certain values and when to be flexible. Acquiring this trait is very, very necessary, ladies and gentlemen.